Kevin Klein. I just wanted to read a tweet that he sent out. I've read it a couple times so far this afternoon, but I want to read it one more time. Breaking news, Council Committee creates more delays in amber flashing lights. Mr. Lewis, speaking with Chuck Lewis with Expert Electric, can't continue this way and has rescinded the gift of amber flashing lights for now. And he is now on the line. Councillor Kevin, how are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. What is going on?
That's a great question, and one day hopefully we'll be able to figure it out. But as far as I can see right now, it's a bit of dysfunction, and I hate to use that word, but I was involved on a press call with Mr. Lewis when he said it's just enough is enough, and you know, we reached a deal. We thought we had a deal, and it was going forward. And then all of a sudden, it became a 45-minute debate with city councilors trying to determine what is the best way to do the lights, and that they don't want to have to pay anything. So I don't blame him at all.
Well, this has been a long time. I mean, maybe highlight some of the length of this timeline on this. I mean, this has been going on for several years now, and I thought we were close to a decision just recently, and it seems like the can just keeps getting kicked further and further down the road.
Well, you're right, and I remember talking to the start and saying to them that I wouldn't count your chickens just yet, because it could get changed. Councillors can certainly make their mind up when they get there and take over if they'd like, and they did. But he started this 4 years ago. He went to a couple of other people, names not necessary, and it was turned down. Didn't even make it to a council discussion or anything. Chuck and I met. He was an advisor and still continues to be on our Westwood residents group. And he mentioned it to me, and I said, "Why? That's crazy that someone would say no to that. I'm happy to champion this." And it's been almost 2 years to be at the position we're in today, where he's had to pull it again. Because remember, every delay costs him money, because these lights go up in price, and since he started, it's gone up in price over 25%. And now it's got to go to EPC, and who knows if it goes to IRPW. And he just said, I just don't want to do this anymore. And I don't blame him. And really, it's the first day that I can sit in this office and say, this is embarrassing. I mean, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, you've had a good relation with Chuck Lewis, of course, with Expert Electric. Is this a cost thing? Is it just become too expensive for him? Maybe some of the dollar signs have started to kind of all come together. And is it just become too expensive, or is this an issue at City Hall?
It's an issue at City Hall. Listen, Chuck, Mr. Lewis wanted this to start right away. He and I worked together on the agreement. This public service had reached out to me, asked me to get involved to get this done. We got it done. It ends up going to the committee, and they're changing it. And they're, saying, we have to pay $1.2 million, which they really don't have to, but they'll certainly spin it to sound like they do. That's to add extra lights if they so choose. You could tell even public service said, well, we're good to go ahead here. We're ready to go. But it didn't move ahead. And, I think Mr. Lewis just reached a point of frustration. It's like you want to give away, he's really giving away millions of dollars, and somebody's saying, no, we're going to tell you how much you have to give us and when. Well, you would walk away from that. Anybody would walk away from that. He doesn't need the stress, and it's unfortunate. But I do support him on it, and we'll try something different. But I think somebody had to do something to end the games, and it really has been a game. And I think Mr. Lewis just reached a point and said, "Forget it."
Is there going to be
too much trouble?
Is there any people in City Hall? I won't use the word celebrate, but they're not going to be crying, shedding any tears over this decision. Is there some people there at City Hall?
Well, I can't imagine that anybody will. They were questioning if they work, will it really make any difference? They were going to test them for 3 more months. That wasn't part of the deal. And then the decision was going to be solely made by a director. We would never know if the light program continued, and if they waited 3 months to do a study, if they were effective. Well, what's effective? What does effective mean? They didn't clarify what that meant. So really, for Mr. Lewis, had they accepted it today, I think he would have put up with it and kept going forward. But one light would have went up, and then we probably would have had to have waited 5, maybe 6 months to get the report. But we're not going to get it. It's up to the public service at this point. So it goes to a whole different channel. And quite frankly, I mean, when you get wrapped in that much red tape, you just want to cut it and walk away. And I think he did the right thing. I'm sorry. I think he did the right thing. I'm sure my colleagues will be all over it on me saying that, for whatever reason. But here's a gentleman who has tried to give the city of Winnipeg a mechanism and a tool to raise awareness of kids, that could be possibly crossing the street or playing in the area, to slow down, to protect them. Every other city I've ever been to has these lights, and we're debating it. Mm-hmm. What is this telling people about Winnipeg?
Well, to me, Kevin, and this is just my personal opinion, a flashing light, obviously. I understand the city has processes they have to follow, but this would obviously help. I mean, that's just clear. I just wanted to get your thoughts on some text messages that have started to come in. One of them, and I'll just get your thoughts on this. They won't approve the amber lights because they, as in the city, will lose money from tickets. It's a shame that we have to operate the city from people's faults. Thanks, Cam. That's the perspective out there. I have another text message. City dragging its butt as usual. The people lose out. This is what the response we're getting from listeners right now.
And I agree with them wholeheartedly, but Cam, I really think this goes down to no leadership and no vision. We have career politicians that aren't looking at what residents want; they're looking at what they want. So, is it about revenue? I can't answer that. I'm not going to get into that argument. But how can you say it's not? How do you fight that it's not? Is it about power? Yeah, maybe it is. It's an embarrassment, and really This is something that I hope residents remember at the next election, because this is really lack of leadership and people that have been career politicians trying to decide what's best for the city, not listening to the city, but telling them what's best for them, that it would be much better to lower the speed limit to 10 or 30 all across the city. This would have helped. There's statistics that it would have helped, even if it would have saved one life. I think it's more than worth it.
Yeah, don't get me started on that mandatory 30 and 40 and stuff like that. Don't get me started on that. Kevin Klein, thank you. I appreciate that. Kevin Klein, City Councillor for Charleswood, Tuxedo, Westwood. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
We'll be right back.